Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Jared Fiacco. In the last video, we took some Venmo API data, some actual real live transactions that you can see on your phone in Venmo. And we took it from the internet, brought it down into Power BI, parsed out some columns a little bit, and made a nice data model. In this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that data model, clean up the columns a little bit, make our first report. It's going to include a word cloud, a card, line graphs, simple line graphs, and some tables. So let's get to it. All right, back in Power BI. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to clean up these column names. I don't like the fact that it says column 1 dot and then whatever the field is. I'm also going to get rid of some things like username, and then it has like transaction last name and something. So I'm going to get rid of some of these things. For example, for like where it says like column 1 transactions target first name, I'm probably just going to keep where it says target first name. So just keep that in mind. So with that said, I'm going to fast forward to a place where I have all this stuff cleaned up. We can bring it into Power BI reports module. So see you there. And we're back. All right, so I cleaned up everything and we're ready to go. I'll just give you a quick overview. Like I said, I'm just changing things to make it look a little prettier, make it a little easier on the eyes. You'll see every once in a while it says target. That's referring to the person who the transaction was sent to. So whether, and then you also see actor. That's the person who created the transaction. So the actor sends the transaction to the target, whether or not it's a charge or a payment. They're the ones sending, the actor is the one sending the transaction to the target. So something pretty interesting to highlight. Oh, forgot to do this one. What I do is I right click here, go to rename, actor first name, click off, and boom, it resets it. I also got rid of a bunch of different columns that weren't really all that helpful. So for example, I removed things like where it says canceled, where it says is business, where it says like comments and likes and audience, because for the most part these things 99% of the time they're the exact same thing every day. Like I pulled almost 3,000 transactions, and I think I got like one time where the subject or the actor or the target, one time they were a business, and then I think one time somebody was able to like a transaction in time, but it's super rare that it's going to happen. So just get rid of it in most cases. If for some reason when you're pulling it you see like one of these fields populated that I got rid of, feel free to keep it and add it to your visual. So I'm going to head over to the report section. And the first thing that we're going to make is we're going to make a word cloud. So you'll notice that we have messages, and that's essentially the thing that you create when you type in a transaction. You pretty much have to say like this is for food, or this is for pizza, or whatever it is. And so this is what we're going to try to visualize. It's pretty hard to do in most cases. Like if you were to just bring it in, it's probably going to be pretty bland, but let's spice it up a bit. So we're going to go over to visualizations pane. We're going to hit import a custom visual, import from marketplace. So pretty cool thing about Power BI is it has a marketplace of essentially a bunch of people made these charts and graphs. It's really cool. So there's instead of just using just these visualizations, you can use a bunch of different ones. What we're going to do is search word cloud. Use word should be fine. It'll pop up. Oh, maybe not. There we go. So word cloud. We're going to hit add, and that's okay. Import custom visual is added. So it's not going to show up here. It's going to show up here. So what we'll do, now that we're clicked over here, we'll click on to the word cloud 2.0.0, boom. And it'll display the message in a word cloud. Pretty interesting. You can mess around with, oh, let me just click off this. You can mess around with how this looks by going into this little painter's icon. Go to general. If you want, let's see, scroll through these, so like rotate text. Let's say you just want to have it like straight across. You don't want it to be kind of like jumbled up. You can just turn that off, make it a little bit more straight. But let's get a little wild here. There's a few different options. Feel free to look through them. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments, and I'll answer them in a different video. So that's the word cloud for you. Pretty simple. Next, we will take. So here's something that's really interesting. If you look at the fields that are here, you'll see it says actor picture and target picture. Interesting. What does that mean? So let's say we go to import from marketplace. We type in image. Okay, simple image. We'll add this one. Add, it's gonna show up here. We'll click to bring it up, and then we'll add in the actor picture. So it's gonna show the first picture. Literally what's happening here, I'll click on this. What's happening here is in the modeling, this data type is an image URL. And so if we were to go to the data, essentially this right here is a URL that, an image URL that Venmo saying use this in reference. And I also realized I used the wrong graph. What I really wanted to do, instead of showing one person, we're gonna go back, image, and we're not gonna do simple image, we're gonna do image grid, because we kind of want the word cloud version of images. So we're gonna bring it in, make sure this is clicked on. We're gonna click on this, it's gonna switch over. It's gonna show us all of our images. So a couple of interesting things about this picture, or this graph really, is if we go to the format, go to settings, scroll all the way down, almost the title, stop here, render type, top list circles. So we can say weighted circles, we can say grid. That's kind of cool. So you have a list of all of the actors. You can do the same exact thing. So we're going to copy, paste this image one more time. Copy, paste. Okay, there it is. So what you have to do is click on the image, or click on the graph, Control C, click off, Control V, and there you go. These little things, right? So we can take this and see, so these are our actors. We can replace them with our target pictures. So these are the people who sent the request, and these are the people who received it. Pretty interesting. Next, what we'll do is we'll make a simple table. So, whoops, go back, make this back into this. All right, so our simple table. Add it in. We want actor first name. We want the message that they sent. We want the actor when they were created, I guess, just to keep it interesting. We also want the target first name and date that they created their account. All right, pretty simple to do. Again, in most cases, a tabular format probably isn't the best, but I will say that for something like messages, if you actually want to see the transactions, you can't really use this message word cloud. You kind of have to see it line by line. If you want to, so the word cloud really is more so for like higher level, like, oh, for example, the word for showed up a bunch of times. It showed up twice. The word a showed up twice. Everything else showed up once. Next, let's take a line graph. So add this one in here. We're going to go like this. And we're going to say, when was the actor created? So one thing you notice when we bring this in, it's literally what this axis is doing is it's saying, it thinks that each one of these is text. So if we look at the actor date created, we go to modeling and then formatting, we see, yes, right, the data type is text. Even if you try to create it into like a date time stamp, it's going to say, hey, you're going to have to refresh the table. It's going to say, hey, we can't do that automatically for you because we're not really sure what you're trying to do. So you're going to close it. We're going to create a new column. We're working on it. And the new column is going to be named actor date created. And we're going to take left actor date created, comma 10. So we're taking the first 10 digits of the string or the text field. So working on it. So I'll just give you an example here. Right, so if this is what we're pulling from, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 digits. Then include the date. And so pretty simple. Let's see where to add it. So you'll see over here I added this information here, and it's in a date timestamp. What we're going to do, click on it, make sure that we format it as a date. Yes. And you'll see that this little icon changed as well. So now you have the ability to have like a date hierarchy in here as well. So let's replace this with the old date created. And then this gives us kind of a picture of how recently most of our users started using Venmo. And in this case, a lot of them started using it in 2019. You could actually, if you wanted to click on a specific person, you could see the year that they made their account actually. Interesting stuff. Oh, one more thing. So let's create a card. And in this card, we just want we're going to pull payment ID in, and we're just going to make the count of payment IDs. So essentially this just shows us that we have 19 payment IDs, or aka we have 19 transactions in the data set. So I hope this was helpful for you. I'm not going to spend the time to make this pretty. I'll leave that up to you. I'm going to give you an idea of how the data model works and give you a chance to mess around with some of this Venmo data, get you used to it. So in this video, we learned about Power BI Visualization Marketplace. We're able to take a visualization that someone else made and pull it into our Power BI desktop, play around with it, make some pretty cool things. We also learned about cards, image grids, word clouds, line graphs, tables. You're already a pro. Look at you. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to put them down in the comment section below. And if this helped you out at all, feel free to add a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.